Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining today. Today's topic is going to be on synchronicity. As always, you're encouraged to practice discernment, take what resonates and leave what does not. And it's in your best interest to come into these sessions with an open mind and heart. Much of what you hear here will challenge what you know about reality itself. And so we can see we've challenged Socrates a bit. Now he knows a few more things that he can truly know, such as I am, everything is here and now. All is the one and one is all. What you put out is what you get back. If you're not in the WhatsApp groups, here are the updates from WhatsApp. I shared a grounding video that was very important for overall health. We developed evolutionarily connected to the ground, to the earth, and our bodies are used to that, are looking to have that sort of grounding through our lives, and we tend to deny that in the current society at the moment. You know, you always have synthetic sole shoes on, which separate you from the ground. You're not grounded with those on. And our beds are lifted off the ground. So overall, we spend most of the day not grounded, which is typically detrimental to our health. Let's see, we don't have any progress recognitions today. And then I'll go ahead and recap a little bit of what we have an understanding of. We know that there are things that we are not, that we typically associate with in our societal understanding. Things such as our ego, emotions, thoughts. So it's important to understand that those do not define us. They are just an attribute and are not permanent. We have an understanding of permission slips, which are things that can help us be more of our true selves. This can be anything from meditation to crystals to singing. We have an understanding of the ways negativity can slip into our lives, things that we just aren't aware of in the day-to-day, such as the way we talk. If we use a lot of negativity towards ourselves, that can be impacting our reality. Next, I gave some tips on some positivity. You know, what's the counter to negativity? That we're eternal, powerful beings, that our worth is inherent, those sort of things. We learned about presence and the now and the here and now. There's only this moment. So living in the past and living in the future is uh, maybe not the preferred energy we'd like to be giving out. If we're here and centered, then life will start to flow. We learn about all is one is all, karma and frequency, karma being what you put out, what you get back, and frequency being our current state and our overall essential being. We learned about love and what love is and what love is not. And love is the frequency of, well, unconditional love is the frequency of all that is that we experience. And so today we'll dive into synchronicity. But first, our opening grounding meditation. Go ahead and visualize a space that feels safe and relaxing and feel open to receiving this next message. So let's begin by making sure you are comfortable. Let your hands rest softly against you or on your lap. Let's go ahead and sit up straight, spine lengthening, aligned. And let's go ahead and take a nice deep breath, slow. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Let's go ahead and take another deep breath. And exhale. Let yourself arrive here in this moment. Let your breath guide your attention inward. With every inhale, notice where your body touches the earth, your seats, your feet, your back. With every exhale, allow more weight to drop into those places. And really settle into this moment, into this body, into the now. Now let's open our awareness to that which is around us. Notice the sounds around you, distant or close. Feel the subtle sensations in your hands. Perhaps a coolness or tingling or warmth. There's no need to name or judge, just notice. And let yourself simply be the one who is aware. As you sit here, connected to breath, body, and space, you're also connecting to something bigger, a web of life that moves through everything, a field that responds when you listen, that whispers when you're quiet. When we hear these whispers, we know them as synchronicity, the right moment, the right place, the unseen thread that ties it all together. And all it asks of you is to notice. Notice what arises without needing to change it. Notice the urge to shift or the itch to move, and let it pass. Each moment you become aware of yourself, you open a door. Right now, allow yourself to rest in this door of awareness, not fixing, not chasing, just here. Breath in. Inhale, we're taking in presence and awareness. And on the exhale, we're letting out our worries, because we don't need to do right now. Now let's set an intention going forward. Today, I am open to the signs, to the flow, to the perfect moments that are already arriving. And feel that seed settle down into your core. And once again, thanks for joining today. Go ahead and continue, energized and ready to be open to this session. So, what is synchronicity? The term was coined by Carl Jung. It basically means meaningful coincidences that are not causally related, yet feel connected or are related to you or your circumstances. So an idea, I'm sure everybody's had an experience where the right thing comes at the right time to help you do something. That's basically the idea of a synchronicity. There's many types that I'll explain later, but that's the general gist. We can think of it as coincidence with meaning. I've mentioned a few times that there are no coincidences. We manifest our reality 100% perfectly. It's just our direction of manifestation that we've lost touch with. And as we become more of our true selves, this is what synchronicity helps us to begin redirecting, to have that sort of direction in our own manifestation. I've also said that our experience is an orchestration. At some level, everything is synchronicity. External events are reflective of your internal state and of your relevant experiences that you've chosen to come into this life for. So this is equivalent to alignment. When you're aligned, the things that you have signed up for come automatically, flow, and are not difficult. You're not pushing to attain certain things that are aligned with you. And synchronicity helps to guide us that way. It arises more and more when the inner and outer worlds align. So when you're not dismissing the outer world, you're not asking why all the time, trying to find answers. You're just allowing. In a sense, you can think of synchronicity as a form of breaking the fourth wall in our reality. We've come to understand a very limited view as the truth, but the truth extends far beyond what we experience. And synchronicity is the guidance from beyond the fourth wall coming through, saying this is what would help you, this is what will be more in alignment for you. So the underlying mechanism of synchronicity is based around resonance. What frequency are you putting out? Your vibration, frequency, your thoughts, beliefs, emotions act like a signal that tell those that are helping you, that reflects out back to you as experiences, symbols of timing and synchronicity. And so when you're in alignment, synchronicities will become more frequent. And the more you're open to synchronicity, the more it will be allowed to work for you, right? Because permission and authenticity are very important to the universe, right? We have free will. So if you're not giving permission for synchronicities to come through based on your beliefs that, they don't exist or that sort of thing, then you won't be seeing synchronicity, or at least the ones that you do aren't recognized as synchronicity. So the more you notice and act on, the more you will reinforce that you can be given more synchronicities. So it kind of builds on itself. Right? The more you recognize, the more the universe is like, okay, we can give some more. They're taking action, they're responding, that they are receiving the synchronicity and are listening to it and following what the guidance is. So the purpose of synchronicity is that it can be thought of as a course correcting tool that nudges you towards alignment. Right? There's an aligned path that is the easiest flow for you. And when you try to not follow that path or not aware of the path, you may be bumping into the barricades, and synchronicity will say, no, go this way. No, this here's another option for you to get back on the path. So it can be seen as a sort of guidance from your guides, your higher self, your angels, source, encouragement or confirmation that you're on the right path. So many times things like angel numbers are seen when you're on the right path, when you're in the right state, mental state, a centered and aligned state in the now. They can be catalysts for spiritual awakening or transformation, especially if we signed up for the experience of awakening, of self-realization. There will be things that just line up that end up in spiritual awakening, and it can be different for everyone. They can be seen as clues for your journey, as little breadcrumbs that guide you on your way. And when you are aligned, it'll bring necessities easily through flow. Remember, the universe wants to bring you everything that is an aligned need. So when we have negative beliefs like synchronicity is just coincidence, or synchronicity, there are no signs, that sort of thing, then we're brushing away those necessities that are coming to us, and then eventually down the line asking why things are going so negatively in your life as you perceive it. So there's many types of synchronicity. Basically, the overall idea is that anything meaningful to you can be used as a synchronicity by your guides, angels, higher self, your manifestation. So smelling a scent that means nothing to anybody else but means something to you, that guides you down a different alley or different path or street, and ends up in a encounter that is exactly what you needed. That's a type of synchronicity, right? There are things like confirmation synchronicity. These reinforce that you're on the right path, confirming your decisions or actions. In my experience, these kinds of things are loud noises, beeps, things that seem out of place, but are right after a main point comes in a discussion or something along that line, or if I'm thinking a certain thought that is aligned or maybe not aligned, I may receive confirmation synchronicity, like a text message or something along those lines, that confirmed to me that I should take action on whatever was going on at that time. There are prophetic synchronicities. These can appear as intuitive flashes, visions, or subtle hints about potential future events. Sort of let you know a heads up of what's going to happen and to be more prepared to take an aligned action when that sort of event happens. Mostly these are dreams for most people. Dream interpretation is important for those who have very vivid dreams. And they may be showing you what is relevant for your experience and to pay attention to. There are desire or manifestation synchronicities. This is when something you've been actively thinking about, hoping for, or desiring manifests in your reality. And so I think even in pop culture now, we're getting the idea of, oh, I was talking about that, so I manifested it. That's the same idea. Of course, it is more than that in the actual mechanism being your belief system and your frequency driving manifestation. But if it's relevant for you, it'll come through. Next is opportunity synchronicity. These involve unexpected chances or encounters with people that lead to new possibilities or directions in your life. I think we've all had a moment where we just meet the right person for the experience that we are having at the time. One example for me was I started looking for a job and then met someone on the street that was offering a job position that I was interested in just the next day. And I ended up with that job pretty easily. So that's an example of just in flow, the things that you need that are aligned will come to you through synchronicity. Next, we know of angel numbers. They're kind of popular in pop culture. It's basically seeing number sequences repeatedly, like 1111, and it's a sign of synchronicity and connection to a higher power or guidance. Next, there's a type of synchronicity called the Patti Smith Club Sandwich. This was described by Robert Hop. Involves multiple instances of similar names, dates, or events appearing across different people or situations. Sometimes I think the most common type would be once you learn about something, you see that repeatedly throughout the day and the next day or the week, even though you've never really encountered it previously in life. Or it could just have been a long time and you hear it 5 times in one day. So it's very odd. And it could be sort of a sign of importance of that date or an event. Next, we have negative synchronicity. While most synchronicities are perceived positively, there are cases where seemingly meaningful coincidences lead to negative outcomes or experiences. These are typically known as bad omens in historical language. Right? You can think of omens as synchronicity as well. And then bad omens, that's the negative synchronicities. So some that are attributed to negative synchronicities are like the black cats crossing your path, the walking under a ladder leading to uh, bad luck, that sort of thing. Remember that the beliefs of the collective hold some power and provide credence to those experiences, leading to some negative synchronicity. But overall, your power and knowing and belief can override that. So it doesn't have to be, it's just what's meaningful to you. Next, we have the sort of negative synchronicity that acts as a red light that you don't really want to go this way. It's not time for this yet. Basically, these can be protective things for you. One that happens to me a lot is if I'm, say, driving, something will happen to get my attention at the time I need to, say, take an exit, but then I see at the off-road that there's something that would have been negative to encounter, such as accident or something in the road. So if I had not been distracted at that time, I would have taken that and been experiencing a non-preferred event that was not necessary. Or it could have been just leading to something like preventing an accident. If I had taken the off ramp, maybe there was someone there that I had not been able to see and it would have caused an accident. Specifically, I'm remembering someone speeding down an off ramp and a bird had landed on my windshield as I was going 30. So it caused me to slow down. And as they came off the off ramp, if I had not slowed down, then I would have crashed with them. So this kind of negative synchronicity that is sort of protective for you. Next, we have meeting the right people, encountering individuals who play a significant role in your life at just the right time. They can be friends, mentors, romantic partners, what's relevant for you at the moment. I gave an example of me running into someone who provided me a job at the time. Another one is my parents had their car break down really out in the middle of nowhere. And then the next person, not even a few minutes later, the next person who drove up uh, to help them, they found that the issue in the car was very specific and they had worked on that specific issue just a couple of days before. So they were ready. They had the parts that were needed. And otherwise my parents would have needed a tow and would have been preventing them from getting where they were going. So just the right person showed up at the right time with the right equipment. Um, and they were able to get my parents back on the road. Next type is repeating patterns and symbols. This is somewhat like the numbers, but we're talking about overall patterns. So if you see like a sequence of things happening over time, that type, it can be also symbols, images, or animals, especially if you know your spirit guides, they'll show up for you in animal form sometimes to relay messages that are related to whatever they represent to you or to the collective. Even hearing the same song repeatedly in different contexts can be synchronicity. Um, Things that happen to me are hearing songs that are related to events going on in my life that would provide context. One thing we do want to watch out for is confirmation bias. We want to be aware of the negative ego's propensity to find reasons to perpetuate negative beliefs through confirmation bias. And confirmation bias is basically using a negative thing happening that confirms your belief that something must be true then. So what you want to recognize in synchronicity is that it brings revelation, new information, insights, confirmation, not just reinforcement of beliefs. Synchronicity tends to have a beyond chance quality. So whenever you say, what are the chances of that happening? That's maybe a sign of synchronicity. We tend to just call it coincidence, but If you see the numbers 11 times while you're driving on a 10-minute trip, that's tends to be beyond normal chances of seeing that number sequence come up. Synchronicity may come with strong intuitive senses, like feeling that there's a sense of truth or right correctness to it, or you may feel like there's something you have to do after having seen the synchronicity or experienced it. Sometimes they will catch your attention, so you just don't, it kind of ensures that you don't miss it. They may show up in your field of view. For my animal guides, they will cross exactly where I'm looking. They may flash a light to catch your attention that doesn't seem to have a source. You may act without conscious knowing why, so you just make a sudden movement without consciously deciding to make that movement. You may suddenly feel like you need to look in a direction and then see something. You could get distracted by something, like my highway example, uh, causing me to miss an exit where if I had taken it, it wouldn't have been my preferred experience. You can feel like you suddenly need to change direction. This is noticed a lot with women. They have that gut feeling that they should turn around in a dark alley or something like that. That can be synchronicity. And then you can also feel drawn to something, just the urge to direct yourself. You don't really know why, but you can't ignore the feeling. So those are all types of synchronicities. And when we are in our aligned flow, when we're trusting and surrendering to our inborn control, we can be shown more synchronicity because we're following our alignment. You want to let go to be shown what your next steps are. Trust that your next steps will be revealed. Surrendering control tends to have a negative context. Surrender, I mean, tends to feel like give up, but it's actually just allow your inborn control mechanisms from your higher self to come through because your higher self has a higher view of what's going on in reality in your manifestation and can guide you from that mountaintop. And it's not passivity to surrender control. There's still action being taken. It's just not from the egoic perspective. Specifically for me, the ways synchronicities show up for me are in dreams, ringing in my ears, thinking of someone or something, and then something related to that comes up, typically immediately, such as a text. Feathers, animals will show themselves when I'm having certain thoughts about certain people. They tend to have animals associated to them. If I ask for a confirmation or a sign, I typically get it within a few minutes. One funny example was I asked about one of my friend's spirit animals, what is it? And then a butterfly hit me in the face not a second later. And I've never really been hit in the face by a butterfly, so that was pretty funny. Next, angel numbers. I see a lot of angel numbers, and as you learn more about collectives, understanding and context for angel numbers, they'll expand in what is shown to you. You can have specific numbers set up, say like someone else's birthday. So if you see that birthday, then you can know that there's a message regarding that person or something to that manner. Your guides and associated symbols that mean something to you, mean something to me. I see plenty of that. And then I notice life is easy. It just flows when I follow the synchronicities. And I see more and more of these synchronicities the more I'm aligned. So the permission slip this week is synchronicity itself. Here's some practices that you can do to open up and start recognizing synchronicity. You can start a symbol spotting journal. Record symbols, dreams, repeated numbers, animals, names, etc. Whenever you get that feeling that just not coincidence is going on, you can record that, and that's an action that will tell the universe that you're listening, that you're not oblivious to the signs anymore. Right? You can do some mapping. You can draw connections between personal moments and outer events that don't seem causally related. You can follow the thread and intuitively act on small nudges during the week and journal the outcomes. And you can open yourself up to synchronicities because what you don't believe in will not be reflected in your reality. And when you see one and dismiss it, it reinforces that there's no use in sending more synchronicities, right? Because you're not listening, you have to show your guides, your higher self that you're listening, or otherwise there's no use in sending you. There's always some amount of synchronicity because everything can be thought of as synchronicity at the higher levels. But the ones that really break the fourth wall, if you don't believe in them, then there's really no point in sending them, right? So if you open yourself up and say you believe in them, then you act on them when you receive them, then that's saying, yeah, I can use more synchronicity to become more aligned. And that will open the floodgates, basically. All right, thank you all for joining. For those of you interested in the meditation, you can stick around. All right, let's go ahead and settle back into our grounded state. Remember the state you felt earlier in this session. Go ahead and deepen your breath. Take a nice long inhale and exhale. Even deeper, take a nice inhale and exhale. Feel your breath move you gently like waves in still water. And with each breath, let more weight fall into your seat, into the moment, into the now. All right, let's go ahead and let our shoulders drop, your jaw soften, relax your expression. There's nowhere else to be but here. Let any thoughts pass like clouds. No judgment, no grasping, just witnessing. Now let's begin to widen our awareness. Notice the sensations in your body, the temperature on your skin. You are aware of being aware. Feel what it's like to witness. Not analyze, not control, just witness. And let your awareness expand beyond the body to the energy around you, to the space between you and the wall. Between you and the floor, between you and the unseen field that connects us all. This awareness is your bridge to synchronicity. You can imagine a gentle current flowing around you and through you, a field of energy, subtle and intelligent. Some call it the flow, or the web, or the Tao. This is the same field that arranges synchronicities, and it whispers through aligned events, nudges, and intuitions. You don't need to chase it, you only need to tune to it. Now silently say within, I am open to meaningful connection. I trust in divine timing. I recognize the language of alignment. And feel those words settle like seeds in fertile soil. With each inhale, imagine your body lighting up with golden awareness. And with each exhale, feel any tension, doubt, or control gently dissolve. Let go of the timeline. Let go of needing to know. Let yourself become the invitation. Feel that sense of trust with yourself. Now visualize yourself in a quiet place, maybe nature or a sacred room. You're sitting still, and before you is a vast shimmering mirror. This mirror reflects not your face, but your energy. Your now, your readiness, your frequency. Look into this mirror deeply and ask, what is life aligning for me now? What signs am I being shown that I've overlooked? Where is synchronicity trying to take me? In your stillness, allow whatever comes. Images may arise, feelings may come. You may receive nothing but stillness, but that is also a message. What is life aligning for me now? What signs am I being shown that I've overlooked? Where is synchronicity trying to take me? Feel into the subtleness, feel into the knowing. You're never truly out of flow, only out of awareness. Feel that sense of reconnection. Let's take another deep breath in, and as you exhale, say to yourself within, I walk in awareness. Another deep breath. I recognize signs. Another deep breath. I trust the unfolding. Another deep breath. I am aligned with the path of highest joy. And let this be your closing frequency, the frequency that you hold throughout the day. And when you're ready, you can begin to return to your body. You can roll or stretch your shoulders if you needed. And feel free to open your eyes when you're ready. You are here, you are aware, and synchronicity is already at work. Thanks again for joining today. Love you all. Have a good week.